We are seeing such a rapid pace of change within the industry. There are organizations or businesses that are being launched on a daily basis to address sustainability needs in very niche sectors or more broadly across the industry. And it can be very confusing for hoteliers to decide how to even start and who to affiliate themselves with. And so what I would say is the best place to start is by taking a first step forward.
Welcome to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast, where green practices meet profitable solutions. Join us as we uncover the latest trends in eco-friendly hospitality that not only safeguard our planet, but also drive down operating costs and boost revenue. Every week, we will bring you compelling conversations with industry leaders who are at the forefront of merging sustainability with economic success. Whether you're a hotelier, a resort manager, or a passionate traveler, this is your gateway to the future of sustainable hospitality. Tune in and let's explore how going green is good for both the earth and your bottom line. We're your hosts, Amy Wald and Kathy McGuire.
Welcome back to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast. I'm your host, Kathy McGuire, and today we are so pleased to have Anick Levesque, who is the Managing Director of Green Key Global, North America's leading sustainability certification program for the hotel industry. She's here to talk about the Green Key Global certification program and the partnership that was formed with the American Hotel and Lodging Association. Anick, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Kathy.
The first thing we'd like to get at is explain what the Green Key Global Eco Rating certification entails and what standards hotels must meet to earn this certification.
Absolutely. The Green Key Eco Rating Certification Program evaluates a hotel's processes and practices against a set of globally recognized sustainability standards, and it provides an associated score that ranges from 1 key to 5 keys, and that really allows hotels and brands to get a measure of their sustainability action plan. Furthermore, in order to be certified, the answers that are provided are subsequently audited by a third party, an independent third party. And what that does is it provides an added layer of credibility for hotels. And it enables them to really confidently market their certification and their sustainability efforts to their guests. And this is something that is becoming increasingly important as greenwashing concerns really start to dominate the sustainability dialogue. Now, the Green Key program is jointly owned and operated by the American Hotel and Lodging Association and the Hotel Association of Canada. So it was designed by hoteliers for hoteliers. And for this reason, it really has the level of specificity to hotel operations that no other program on the market can claim today. We've designed a program that is accessible for hotels, that is easy for them to understand, and more importantly, perhaps, that provides a roadmap to their future action plans.
I really like the fact that it's graduated in levels so that if a hotel only got 1 green key, that's okay. That's a step in the right direction and they can do continuous improvement. And I like the fact that it's third-party verified because many of these self-assessment so-called certifications really don't dive deep enough into verifying, if at all, if the hotel is doing what they claim they're doing. And I have seen this firsthand as a consultant. So I'm really glad about that. It's a great program. So what is the process for a hotel to become Green Key certified?
In order to become Green Key certified, hotels must enroll online at greenkeyglobal.com and become a Green Key Global member, in order to unlock the assessment. Now, the assessment itself is very rigorous in nature. It is underpinned by the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And to that end, it's very broad in nature. It does address topics beyond the environment. The assessment itself is broken down into 5 different categories that line up to the operational lanes of a hotel. And as such, it makes it as easy as possible for them to complete the assessment. Now, once it's complete, the member will receive a self-assessment report. And what that report does is it provides, first of all, a checklist of the mandatory next steps. It highlights any information that may be missing or any documents that need to be attached to the assessment. And it also provides an evaluation. It provides them with a preliminary score and showcases what the areas of strength are and what the areas of opportunities are across the different operational lanes. And what's great about that is that many hotels actually use that report as their action plan for the following year. Now, once a member is comfortable that they've appropriately answered all of the questions in the assessment, they can then request an audit through the platform. And as I mentioned earlier, that audit is conducted by an independent third party, and it's usually conducted within a 90-day period. At that point, the member will receive their final score, they'll receive their certification, and they can begin to market their certification.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I really like the fact that it's so rigorous in nature. You have the mandatory documents, and processes have to be in place. It's not just jump in and just check a few boxes. There are certain things that are basic and foundational to sustainability in the hotel environment. And I'm glad that you require those mandatory things. So that's great. So, what kind of assistance do you provide, and how do you handle a request for hands-on assistance?
So the Green Key Global team really provides leadership and guidance across all stages of the process. So first of all, when actually going through the assessment, we've designed it in such a way that it provides tips and help. It has help icons embedded within the experience to help the member retrieve the information within their organization, just to help them complete the assessment as seamlessly as possible. At Green Key Global, we also have a member services team that's really tasked with supporting the hotels, the properties themselves throughout the process. We conduct bi-weekly webinars that provide training on who we are as an organization, what the program is all about, and how to effectively go through the process. If following that members continue to have questions, then they are encouraged to book one-on-one meetings with a member services representative who will provide that support and help to overcome some of the barriers that they may experience in going through that process.
Oh,
Now,
that's
in addition,
terrific.
yes, it's very helpful. As you know, hotels are very busy. And so being able to provide them with that support really helps guide them through that process. In addition to that, we also have a number of tools and templates that we offer our members through a member portal that's located online. And examples of some of those tools may be departmental checklists, for instance, that really help them craft their action plan and could identify actions that are as simple as making sure that they have recycling bin in all of the hotel rooms to something much more complex in nature. We also provide our members with marketing collateral so that once they are certified, they're able to communicate that to their guests. We have in-room videos, for instance, that they can leverage. And we also have a plaque that they can display at the hotel entrance just to showcase the fact that they are, in fact, Green Key Global certified. And then finally, what I'll say is we also have a comprehensive list of vendors that have been vetted and that have expressed a commitment to sustainability. And so our members can locate those vendors online on our website, and that can really provide them with an opportunity to fill the gaps on where there are areas of opportunity within their operational framework.
What kind of vendors do you have, and what areas, and how do you vet them to be able to be put on your website as a resource?
So Green Key has a comprehensive list of vendors, and what we've done is we have structured those vendors according to a hotel's operational lanes in order for them to really quickly and easily identify vendors that can support them in their sustainability journey. So if a hotel, for instance, is looking specifically at enhancing their actions within engineering, or within food and beverage, for instance, then they can easily access vendors that support those particular operational lanes. the vendors, in order to be featured on our website, the vendors are required to complete a form. And that form basically is an attestation of the fact that they are committed to sustainability and undertake actions that are representative of their sustainability values. It is a self-determined vetting process. So it is important to note that at this time, the vendors that are listed in the Green Key Global Program are not certified, but rather they are vetted through Green Key.
Oh, that's great. So you've got a variety of different resources to help hotels, because most hotels do not have a dedicated sustainability person. So everybody's got to join in together. They got to work as a team, have a green team and things like that, and make assign roles and responsibilities to different people. So it's great that you have a variety of different kinds of resources. What are the primary benefits for hotels that achieve the certification, both in terms of operational efficiency and market perception?
Mm. Well, hotels who obtain the eco rating certification, they realize both, I will say, strategic benefits as well as financial benefits. We like to say at Green Key Global that sustainability is not just a business imperative, it's actually really good for business as well. At a brand level, becoming certified really signals to the market that you've made a commitment to sustainability, that you are standing behind your brand promise. And that is becoming increasingly important when we consider that guests, whether they are leisure travelers or business travelers, they are increasingly focused on selecting hotels that are sustainable. And so being able to deliver against that brand promise, really allows you to attract those guests that value sustainability. At the same time, it allows you to attract employees. More and more, what we're seeing, the data is telling us that employees are considering sustainability and the work that hotels are doing as one of the criteria for selecting where to work. And so there are some benefits there from a strategic standpoint that also translate into financial gain. And then finally, what I'll say is that there are financial benefits to operationalizing actions that reduce the use of water, that reduce the energy that's being used across the hotel. These are measures that really help the bottom line, and it helps hotels realize greater profitability.
Yeah, that's terrific. And that's, I guess, a motivating factor is, first of all, you can save quite a bit of money on making these changes, and not all those changes require capital improvements. And then there's the marketing aspect once you get certified by that third party that gives you the opportunity. And I know sales and marketing professionals that are charged with getting heads in beds, I know they're going to love for their hotel to have this certification. It makes their job easier.
Right.
How aware do you think consumers are of the Green Key certification? And how do you think that certification might influence their choice of accommodation?
Certification is playing an increasingly important role for consumers when making travel decisions. The data tells us that almost 90% of travelers consider sustainable hotel accommodations when making those travel decisions. So it's becoming increasingly important. We see that. They're demanding that the brands or the organizations that they interact with demonstrate a commitment to the planet, to the environment, to their local communities. But what's happening is, as consumers are being inundated with claims from businesses, there is a degree of skepticism that is set. And consumers are looking for a way to work through all of the plethora of information out there. And they're looking for a way to ensure that the claims that are being made are actually validated. And that's where certification comes into play. It really allows us to provide a stamp of approval on the practices that are being undertaken by the hotel, and to allow consumers and guests to be able to identify those hotels and feel confident about the decisions that they're making.
Yeah, because this has not been widely adopted yet, uh, hotels right now can have a first mover advantage, meaning that's a way to differentiate themselves from the hotel, across the street. For example, Seth Godin, who's like a marketing guru, You may know who Seth Godin is. He says, when you go to a hotel, if you switch this brand sign with that brand sign, nobody would be able to tell the difference. Nobody
Mm,
knows if they're in one brand hotel or the other. And so that's one way to differentiate themselves from their, competitive market. So it's really great. Um,
absolutely. And Kathy, if I
y-
may, I would actually add
yes.
to, so you're absolutely right that being certified provides a competitive differentiator. And when you consider the nature of the competitive landscape, that becomes really important. We see it today with business travelers and group travelers. And so as RFPs are being submitted to hotels, certification and sustainability in general is playing a bigger role in those RFPs. And so we're seeing that there's a trend towards a situation where hotels that are not certified will be at a disadvantage competitively in their ability to really win that RFP.
Yeah, it's called it's like early adopters and first movers, then the majority, and then the minority, and then
Right.
laggards. So
Right.
it's like people who didn't want touch tone phones, they still wanted the rotary dial phone. Well, after a while, they became obsolete. So they had no choice, but they would be considered laggards. They had no choice because it was only touch tone that was available. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will say that that journey all the way through to the laggards is shrinking as the industry evolves and the need for sustainability increases and the importance of third-party certification really comes to light. And so we're going to have to see in the next couple of years, really those laggards accelerating the pace of their actions. The market pressures are mandating that they do, whether those market pressures are coming from consumers, from
mhm.
businesses, from governments, they're really coming at them from many different perspectives. And so it really elevates the importance of certification.
Yeah, I feel like I've been doing this consulting work for since 2006, and it's just been slow going, but I think now there's some movement, there's some momentum happening right now. I think now is a really great time. I think that this is going to be accelerated, mostly because of what Green Key is doing. So that's terrific.
Wonderful.
Um, what are how does Green Key Global promote the certification to hotels? How are you getting the word out there?
So we work very closely with a pretty broad roster of brands, management companies, and ownership groups to help them articulate the value of Green Key Global certification and to help them get started on that journey to
Mhm.
certification. It's very important for us to work at all levels of the industry to make sure that the actions that are being undertaken really ladder up to the corporate strategy and the corporate imperative. And so that's why we work closely with the brands and management companies and ownership groups, in addition to working hands-on with the properties who need support.
Oh, that's really great. I love hearing that. Do you have any challenges that you face in marketing the Green Key certification? If so, how do you overcome them? What's the plan?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, let's face it, hoteliers are really busy, right? Between
Yeah.
navigating fluctuations in booking trends and addressing guest needs and acquiring talent and just running the day-to-day operations of the business, there's very little time left to devote to brand new initiatives. And to exacerbate that, many of the hotels, as you've noted earlier, don't necessarily yet have a sustainability lead in place, albeit that is quickly changing. And so we're finding that many people are actually undertaking the certification process from the corner of their desks when time permits. And so
Yeah.
that is one of the key challenges that we at Green Key face. And that's why we've really developed a program that supports them through that entire process. We have everything from education at the get-go that helps them not only understand the process, but understand how to structure themselves internally so that they can go through the process in the most seamless way possible. And we continue to provide that support throughout the journey.
Yeah, I think it's important to stress that you can chunk things. It's called chunking, where instead of it's like, oh my gosh, there's all this change, which psychologically people are averse to, as humans averse to anyway. And then to have, oh my gosh, this is so huge. There's all these different departments, all these different things. But if you compartmentalize
Absolutely.
everything and just group it in small groupings of things you have to do, and here's phase one, here's phase two, I think that helps a lot. Um,
Absolutely.
what are the goals of your partnership with the American Hotel and Lodging Association? What are your next steps?
Yes, well, as joint owners and operators of the Green Key Global Program, the American Hotel and Lodging Association and the Hotel Association of Canada was really, the partnership itself was really founded on their common goal of advancing sustainability efforts within the hotel industry. And of providing really a seamless solution to hotels in order for them to advance their sustainability efforts. As we are very committed to the hotel sectors, we are hoteliers as well. The partnership really is focused on making sure that the solution that we offer is accessible to the hoteliers, that it offers a platform that is intuitive for them. And most importantly, as hotels are engaging with us, they can have the confidence that the investments that they're making in Green Key Global are actually being reinvested into the industry through the two associations.
Oh, that's really great. I didn't realize that at all. I like that. I like that a lot. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth in the eco certification space, and how can Green Key capitalize on those opportunities? You may have addressed a little bit of that already.
Governments are getting increasingly involved in protecting consumers against greenwashing claims. In Canada, for instance, C59, was recently enacted with its goal of protecting consumers by ensuring
Mhm.
that the claims that are being made by businesses are in fact substantiated. We are seeing some significant developments coming out of the EU as well, with the EU Green Claims Directive that is set to be introduced to market in the next few years, which, contrary to popular belief, will in fact have an impact on North American businesses. At Green Key, we're really playing a leadership role, making sure that we are plugged into all of the global developments and that we are crafting a solution that will continue to be ahead of the trends that we are seeing coming down the pipeline, and can really make sure that the hoteliers that are interacting with Green Key Global that are being certified are certified by a program that is fully compliant with the regulatory environment. That is going to be
Mhm.
very critical for hotels, in part because the OTAs, the online travel agencies, they have already made a statement to the effect that certification programs who are not in compliance with the EU Green Claims Directive will not have their members featured on the marketing platforms, which is obviously a platform that is so important to hotels in getting their message across. And so Green Key has really stayed abreast and is playing a leadership role and is involved in making sure that its members are aware of the developments in the industry. I would also say to you that we are seeing trends around the harmonization of the industry as a whole. When we look at the standards, we really need to take a look at the standards from a global standpoint. And that's critical to the brands that are operating on a worldwide basis. And as we think about the standards, we must also consider what are the measurement criteria that are important to the members, that are important to consumers, and how do we integrate that within the overall framework of a certification program. And the final piece really comes with training. As you've said, hotels are at various different stages of their sustainability journey, and as such, at very different stages in terms of their knowledge base. And so being able to guide them along with that and making sure that their education and their training is rooted into something that is much more global in scale, that's going to become increasingly important and something that we're going to see coming down the pipeline.
You met the European Green Claims Directive. Can you elaborate more on how that would affect, if there's a major brand operating in North America and in Europe, how would, if it's not, of course, the US isn't likely anytime soon to have any kind of green claims, for the hotel sector. How does that work when a hotel's brand is operating in both locations?
That's a great question. The EU Green Claims Directive is founded on the principle that businesses that are interacting with consumers must adhere to the directive, regardless of where those businesses are located, because the directive aims to protect European consumers. So theoretically, if you have a European consumer that is traveling within North America, then those North American businesses that are interacting with that consumer must be compliant with the standards of the EU Green Claims Directive. And so that is a critical component to consider as brands and as hoteliers are really crafting their action plan for the future.
I think that's just the nudge that the US market anyway needs to get further along with the sustainability. So I'm loving that. Okay, let's see. Can you share any success stories of hotels that have significantly improved their sustainability practices through Green Key certification?
There are a multitude of examples that I could pull from. Having been in the Canadian market for over 30 years, we've worked with hoteliers across all of the regions and hoteliers who are at various stages of their sustainability journey. Having said that, excuse me, there is one in particular that I'd love to call out, and that is the Hyatt Place Ottawa West. This is one of the newly built hotels in the world to open up with a 5-key rating. And the reason that they were able to do that is because they worked with the Green Key Global team while the hotel was being built and while they were defining the operations, and they used the standards as the basis for building out their framework. And as such, they were able to score a 5-key from the get-go. And we continue to work with them to continue to evolve their sustainability action plan. And it's just tremendous, some of the actions that they've put into place.
I love hearing that. That's like it's so much easier, from the ground level, but it doesn't mean that it's hard for an existing hotel to gain the Green Key certification. So that's really great to hear. Is there anything else that you would like to share that I haven't asked you about that you'd like to share at this time?
What I would say to you, Kathy, is that we are seeing such a rapid pace of change within the industry. There are organizations or businesses that are being launched on a daily basis to address sustainability needs in very niche sectors or more broadly across the industry. And it can be very confusing for hoteliers to decide how to even start and who to affiliate themselves with. And so what I would say is, the best place to start is by taking a first step forward. And Green Key Global can really play a role in helping to craft the overarching sustainability strategy and then helping to translate that into operational action plans that will really deliver meaningful impacts or results to hotels.
Well, and Nick, this has been really, it's not only been informative, but you really laid the groundwork for how easy it is to get started. And usually that's the hardest thing to do is to get started on a project. So I thank you very much for joining us today and explaining the Green Key Global Program. Again, everyone, thank you to Anick Levesque, Managing Director of Green Key Global. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kathy.
We want to thank you for tuning back into the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast. Keep the conversation going and visit the contact page at greenluxinc.com and sign up for our monthly newsletter, where we will bring you the latest developments and breaking news in sustainable hospitality and tourism. That's www.greenluxeinc.com. And if you're ready to start your sustainability journey and would like some help on knowing what that could look like, book a complimentary call with us today. Until our next episode, remember, sustainability is your ticket to a healthier planet and a healthier bottom line. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review.